mai e o mai e. Aloha mai kākou e nā hoa ʻāina. O wau no hoʻi o me hana o ka lā hain, e mahalo no hoʻi, no ke komo ana I ke ia papahana nei. Welcome to all of our friends out there into our little puʻuhonua here, maka Zoom, on Zoom. But our little puʻuhonua here, our little piece of sacred honua that we have now, ignited here tonight in honor of an event that has been happening for about 6 years now in conjunction with the celebration of our national holiday for Nā Hua Ea, which happens at the end of this year. And this is one of those foundational events that brings us all together, usually in person, alo ahe alo. And luckily, via this technology, we still can be alo ahe alo, kind of, sort of. But, well, mai kaʻi no kākou, ua ola no kākou, and oia ka mea nui. Yeah, we are good, we are alive, we are healthy, and we are here. So mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. The theme of this year's Nā Hua Ea is drawing on the healing and the medicinal and the life-giving elements of Kū. We are well into Kū season right now for us here in Hawaii, right? And most people have really kind of warped ideas of what that means. But we're here to tell you that there's an element to Kū, a very necessary element that talks about revitalizing and this time of healing and work and the medicine and the growth of that takes all of us to nurture, right? In order for us to ola, right? So our theme this year is Kuehu, Kūola, Kūʻokoʻa. Yeah. So while all of you guys out there are not gonna be able to see your mouths moving, okay? I'm a teacher by nature and by heart, so I'm gonna look for all you guys' mouths moving. If you guys can repeat that after me: Kuehu, Kūola, Kūʻokoʻa. Yeah. So Kuehu, the idea to stir up and to clear like weeds, to clear through, to drive off as evil spirits, right? Then Kūola, to be alive and to be safe, as if coming from something, that's dangerous, right? As in surviving that and moving forward, right? And then of course, Kūʻokoʻa, which is a word that we've learned just from out the last 2 decades for most of us, the last 20 or 30 years for some of us, like Papa Osorio on here. I'm going to call you Papa Osorio. It's just that time, John. Yeah. Who have been Kūʻokoʻa for 40 plus years, now. And how wonderful is that we've been able to, glean from all of that. So that's the theme this year. Yeah, Kuehu, Kūola, and Kūʻokoʻa. Uanani maulino kela. Right? So we're going to get into it. What we have, if this is your first time on, and see, I'm feeling myself right now that I'm forgetting to look at how much participants we have. So we have a good group of people that have jumped onto the Zoom, and I know all of our hoa aloha out there, our hoa ʻāina who are joining us via social media on Facebook too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time to a Nā Hua Ea, one, maybe because this event usually happens only on Oahu. Yeah, this particular event usually happens on a Sunday afternoon at Papahana Kūola up in Haiku on Oahu. So we now have the ability to have people from all over the world join us tonight. Yeah, so if this is your first time, ooh, lucky you. Yeah, tonight is going to be a good night. Yeah, you're going to hear from some great minds, some incredible spirits, right? And some very, very pa kana'o kind of moments. You hear from our poets, right? Our thinkers, our thought leaders are gonna be here tonight sharing with all of us. Yeah, so thank you for all of you guys coming today. We're gonna open up today, if I can ask, one of the co-founders and co-organizers of this event, along with Dr. Goodyear Ka'opua, is this very, very special woman. And I call her that because she has the patience. I don't even know what, I don't think there's another, I don't know what her spirit animal is, but she has an incredible patience with everybody, with all of us, with me especially, right? So if I can bring Aiko, if you can, yep, unmute yourself and share with us a little bit about this event and what's been happening and what's going to happen.
Aloha, aloha kako. My name's Aiko Yamashiro, and what's going to happen? It started. We have the amazing Mehano Kalahain, who has helped to build this honua for us to stand on across the internet. So we have this magical moku that we're all on right now for Nā Hua Ea to share our ea from all the different ʻāina that we are coming from. And right now I'm calling from Manoa on Oahu, and I'm here actually to share about something that happened earlier today in Waiahole with one of our co-organizers, Hanalei Bishop. So today we had a work day out in Waiahole with Homestead Poi, and if they had about 50 folks come out, different ohana folks come out and to some music and brainstorm and create together around how to create your own mala and how to feed yourselves and your family. So they did this beautiful art project that he asked me to share with you folks, and hopefully he'll be able to jump on and share some mele with you folks later too. So everybody there, they had these two signs. One was how, and one was why. And then together they filled out those questions. So here is this message from Waiahole via Manoa to everybody across the world right now at Nā Hua Ea. How much taro do I need? With ohana, for ohana plus share. One huli at a time. Huli to lepo 3 to 5 days, let the cut seal over, full of heart positivity. 9 to 12 months, 1 pound per square foot. Why? Why do we grow taro? Healthy, food, culture, self-sustain. We like eat, future, energy, life, practice cultural traditions, connect to our roots, connect to who we are, hungry, each other, family, mo'oku'auhau, eola. So that message is from 50 folks, 50 beautiful ohana out in Waiahole earlier today, coming to you. And hopefully we'll get to see Hanalei Bishop, who was an amazing co-organizer for this event this year. Next week, Saturday, if you are on Oahu, they're having a major huli giveaway at Kawaiwai all day long. They want to get those huli to you to help you huli in your life and to grow and to build that honua. Mahalo nui mehana. I'll turn it back to you.
Oh, mahalo for that. Yeah, we all need a little huli in our life, right? This is a good time. The huli here is happening. We might as well join on, jump in. Yeah, mahalo, Aiko, and mahalo to Hanalei and his ohana for opening up that space for all the families to gather too. And yeah, hopefully he'll be jumping in and joining in a little later. He's our music man. He usually, Hanalei Bishop and his ohana, they usually set the space by, they're like the first leo, right? That music is usually set by them, and they come from that side of the island too. So yeah, can't wait for him and River to join us a little later. Now we're gonna go to Mahina Kamehameha. She's a co-organizer of Nā Hua Ea and the Uahikeaikalei'ohu Education Conference Series. She's also a Kamehameha Schools student. Yeah, so that was great. And if you guys haven't gone to the La Hoi Ea YouTube channel, you got to go over there, because if you joined in and saw Mahina them at work this week, Mahina hosted a panel discussion that facilitated a panel of Kanaka and Black youth talking about how to come together and create ea-driven futures. How amazing is that, right? So mahalo nui for doing that amongst our youth. If you missed that discussion that they had, it sits, and I got to watch a little bit of it earlier on the Nā Hua Ea YouTube channel. As we go along tonight, I'll be dropping those links into the chat here on Zoom. If you're on our Facebook pages, I'll put it in over there too. Yeah, so without further ado, Mahina, aloha mai, aloha, aloha.
Mahalo nui. I share another huli. Today it's a poem called Kapuka Halua. Kapuka Halua Kumakapea. Halua, they say you were stillborn, died, torn from your mother's womb, then birthed again. But what if you always lived, remembered by her tears? Your faint breath rising beneath the layers of kapa and earth, waiting, shape-shifting, until the day you took back your body and stood, telling us to clear the weeds. Unearth the kino buried beneath the motto of the fake state, because sovereignty is not past tense, not dead, simply waiting for us to Kuehu and remember again. Kanuya haloa, uluha haloa, okalau haloa. You are low kapalili trembling, because sometimes standing is fragile and we quiver in the cold and the unknown. You stand anyway, telling us not to forget that wind is also breath and necessary. That Ea is a many-bodied expanse, whispering its way across chests, mapping genealogies, birthing the dirt of resistance. Telling us that we'll never stop breathing until Black Lives Matter, until bombs stop dropping, until Maunakea, Punana Niho, Kahuku, breathe with us. Kūola, and our Ea rises. Ikeola, puka, and you burst into the day, your sovereignty reclaimed. Haloa, you say that Kūʻokoʻa is not a melody you can teach us. We must taste the fruits of Ea on our own tongues. So here's one. Kapuka haloa, kumakapea. Kanuya haloa, uluha haloa, okalau haloa, ikeola puka. Mahalo.
Hey, paʻipaʻili makako for Mahina. Mahalo Mahina. You know, that's one of the chants I teach all my classes now. My Papa Oli, it's such a foundational poku in the kumulipo. Love and mahalo you for turning that and expanding upon that and bringing haloa into this discussion. Not only just for tonight, but in the discussion of what's going on in our world today. Right? People say that a lot of our Ike is just relevant in the past, right? But it's poems like this, it's connections like this that really show that we are more than relevant. We are needed, right? That thought process of the kumulipo, kapuka haloa, kumakapea, kanuya haloa, uluha haloa, okalau haloa, ikeaula puka. That is as relevant in the kumulipo as it is today. Mahalo Mahina. Mahalo. Yeehaw. Ooh, I like stand up. I wish I had a big computer or something so I could stand up and yeah, for you. Okay, our next guest tonight is all the way from Pretoria, South Africa. And I've been to her homeland, and a mahalo the strength and energy that I personally felt when I went there. I got to go to her homeland when Nelson Mandela turned 90. It was his 90th birthday. When I landed there, there were celebrations everywhere, like stadium full of celebrations going on. And so I just, that energy, along with a lot of the Ike that I gained there, really shaped a part of me. So bringing forward, Lesego Butindaro is from Butindaro, excuse me, originally from South Africa, and she's a recent graduate of UH Manoa. She is one of Dr. Goodyear Ka'opua's students and on her way to becoming a teacher as a master's in education candidate. Yeah. Aloha mai, velina mai ke aloha e Lesego. The stage is yours.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you. I'm going to say a poem titled Born Free. Born free, they call us. That is anyone born in 1994. Born free, they say, because we ushered in an era of free democratic elections for the first time in South Africa. After 400 years of British and Dutch oppression, my people finally had a political voice in their own land and the land of their ancestors. Nelson Mandela, thank you, Tata. All those 27 years spent in prison fighting for injustice was not in vain, or was it? Back in high school, my teacher once asked, "Why do your people speak so loud when you speak to each other?" Well, you see, miss, back when our ancestors owned vast amounts of land, our neighbors were far, so we had to scream for us to hear each other. But then your people came to South Africa and the rest is history. Nelson Mandela called us a rainbow nation, a multiracial country with multiple cultures. But just like the rainbow, I'd like to say, each one is confined in its own colors and borders, even in a post-apartheid era. But here I am in Hawaii, free to roam the streets of Honolulu without the invisible black and white borders that were present in Pretoria. Free to stand in solidarity with the kupuna and my friends who are protecting the mauna. I guess I really was born free. Free to seek the land of the free. No, not the one you're thinking about. I'm talking about Hawaii, ne? Thank you.
Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Yes, yes, yes. We are the land of the free. Yes. And there I should say the home of the brave too. Yes, that is us. Yeah, might cut you. Mahalo for that. Let's see. Now we're gonna go to one of our ohana actually, who's so far away from here right now. Yeah, Uahikeaikalei'ohu, who is so far away. I don't know if it's cold there right now. I always think that where you're at in Toronto can be, nice and chilly, but it might not be now. But Dr. Uahikeaikalei'ohu Maile, actually, mine and his father worked together back in the 70s when I was born. Uahikeaikalei'ohu is much younger than I, but his father is a really well-known artisan, a wood crafter. His Facebook page is like, I call it, and I don't think this is too far out of reach on the edge, but I call it wood porn. He makes the most beautiful, beautiful wood pieces, umeke and ukulele and all of that. So when I first learned about Uahikeaikalei'ohu, I instantly just recognized him coming from a ohana of just natural born talent, just kind of seeping through their veins, and an affinity and affection, because I know his brother very well too, for our Hawaii and telling the mo'olelo of our Hawaii in its correct context. Yeah, so Dr. Maile is a Kanaka Maoli scholar and activist and a practitioner from Mauna Wili, Oahu. They're currently an assistant professor of Indigenous politics at the University of Toronto. He mai, he mai, he mai. Hey, Dr. Maile.
Aloha mai kako. Mahalo nui for the invitation, Noi. Mahalo nui for the wonderful introduction, Mehana. I'll make sure to tell my dad that you hashtagged wood porn for his posts. He'll love that. I'm actually going to be sharing a poem that I wrote about my father's father, my grandfather, my Tutukane. And I wrote this poem in 2013 when I was moving to Albuquerque, New Mexico to start a PhD and far off island from home, reminiscing and thinking about my kupuna and the ʻāina that he raised, not just my father, but also myself on in Maunawili. So this poem is for my grandfather, and I'm going to read it, even though I memorized it once upon a time as a slam poem for the Albuquerque Slam Poetry team, but I haven't done a performance in a long time. So here goes. When I used to break my grandma's fancy emerald china, my grandpa would talk to her. He was gentle. He'd be there for my baseball games to awkward phase, happy like it was his birthday, every day. And the only present he ever needed was a smile. He was happy. He told me the day I left for college, don't do anything I already didn't. That's my Gramps. Today is his birthday. Today is his 82nd birthday. Arlen, like the aged proper scotch he kept behind his brown barrel-shaped bar. Milton, like Bradley, because our identities were a puzzle. Only he could connect four guess who on Scrabble solve. Maile, like the Hawaiian lei offered to demonstrate peace, love, and our culture, like my last name. M-A-I-L-E, like not your lei, but my lei. My Gramps is the umbilical cord to my culture, an ancestrally native, ethnic, indigenous constellation with our own sun scientifically proven, identified, and called Arlen. He taught me how to swim, wear a suit and tie, and live Hawaiian style. It's 82 today. But I'm confused by what he used to show me. The Hawaiian flag, an Elizabethan, Washingtonian imperialistic affair, abiding tale of creative religious prostitution, fascinatingly told story frames, heroes commodifying heathens, a last-second game-winning touchdown for whalers, missionaries, Captain Cook, U.S. businessmen, and Lauren Thurston, matching the Hawaiian monarchy against Team USA and colonial control. I always wondered why my grandpa was in the Navy. Today is his lahanau. He'd be old enough to tell me a story why outstretched, warm, comfortable words replaced my grandfather's short but careful arms, teaching me Hawaiianness, identity, and family, tattooed to my elbows. May 24, 2012, nudging me awake, reminding me who I am and where I'm from. A tattoo hasn't got shit on the enduringly inked inscriptions left in my boyish ball-playing memories. His name is Arlen. I drink shattered brown glass bottled metaphors. Today is his birthday. I break barriers with poems. No, he isn't just Arlen, and it's not just his birthday. I built bicycles out of the drafts I wrote of this poem. My thoughts fearful of polluting my indigeneity. What would 82 look like on you? Displaced from my cultural center, privileged by an education dominated by English, I'm trying to remember your dry, humorous jokes. Brown, wrinkled hands, your secret money gifting handshake, our heritage, the Budweiser breath, and your birthday. Hau'olilaha nau e kupunakane. Happy birthday, Grandpa. Mahalo.
Mahalo, mahalo. Ola kahaloa o ka ohana maile. Ola, ola. Mahalo no hoi. You know, it's always a gift to everyone in the family when somebody writes something about another family member, right? And it just live, just those you know, just live on. So mahalo. And mahalo, your grandpa sounds a lot like my dad. Yeah. same metaphors. Navy, Budweiser. Yeah. I was right there with you. Oh yeah, mahalo. Next up from my hometown and this you know, this young person hails from the same place too. I don't know where her papa comes from, actually another island, but she comes from Palolo, right? Palolo was my center of the universe. So that was something that we always had in common. Different generation, different time spent in the valley. But enough about my connection to these people. Of course, Dr. Jamaica, Heolimeleikalani, Osorio, who is a professor in the, wait a minute, I'm gonna get it wrong. I wanna say English.
No.
Poli-sci. Poli-sci. Yes, sorry. You know why? I guess taught in your English. Did you have an English class that I taught at? No?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See when I don't take notes of everything, right? And of course, she affectionately calls him Dumbledore. No. That's not the word. I'm messing it up. Huh?
The Hawaiian Dumbledore.
It is Dumbledore, right?
What is Papa? It seems to ring so well.
I love Papa. I'm just gonna call you Papa.
I might get used to it too.
Yes. But only I can call you that though. Yeah. You know, Dr. Jonathan Kamakaviva Ole Osorio was a professor of mine, professor of many of us, you know, here on this platform tonight. And if he wasn't your direct professor at any one time in your education career, you have definitely been influenced by the intellect and the activism of this man. There's no part in Hawaii that has not been touched by Papa Osorio, right? Just none. He's currently the dean of Hawaii Nui Ākea, the College of Hawaiian Studies and Hawaiian Language up at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Most, you know, in this past week, and I forgot to mention this at the top of the show, but this past week was a 1-year anniversary of sorts, of a very, it was two very pivotal moments in Hawaiian history. Two very, very significant moments in Hawaiian history. One was our kupuna standing strong on the Mauna and being taken away with zip ties into a van, loaded into a van off the Mauna, which has ignited a force that we will see the rippling effect of that for generations to come. The other thing that was historic about this week 1 year ago was Dr. Goodyear Ka'upua and her kane, ʻihilani, and also Heoli chained themselves to the, what do they call it? It's the only Big Island people know what it is, cattle guard.
Yeah, what is that, yeah?
Yeah, cattle guard. We don't have those things on Oahu. It's so kind, it's so country. But yes, Hawaii Island, choke full of them, right? But chained themselves to those cattle guards. And many of you, if you have not seen the video of Papa Osorio singing to this group there, then you've been under a rock, right? Like somewhere, just in a cave somewhere, right? Not in Hawaii at all. But it was one of those moments where we saw what aloha ʻāina, right? The many manifestations of that in that one shot, right? Of father to daughter, of husband to wife, of comrades in the struggle. And then there was also music and there was also chanting, right? Which is very Hawaii at that time, right? And see, and I forgot that I'm introducing you to, right? I thought I was retelling the history of Maunakea there for a second. But I don't know how more to express this pivotal time that we will look on this past week, a year ago, and we will celebrate that movement every year from now on out, like we do the 1976 launching of Hokulea, like the stopping of the bombing on Kaho'olawe. Right, we will look at this time as that kind of marker, and you were all here and all alive to witness that firsthand. So I thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Goodyear Ka'opua Winchester, yeah, and also Ohana Osorio, and many others, yeah, Anakala Walter Ma, yeah, everyone else, Kalekoa Ma, up there. But anyway, so to bring us back, Mahina, get back on track, Mahina, get back on track, yeah. Joining us on this afternoon from this is their, I'm gonna call Wahiawa your guys' summer residence, right? Because Palolo is your guys' piko, like mine. I'm in my summer residence in Aliamanu right now. You are in your summer residence in Wahiawa, yeah? To come today, step onto this honua and share with us. He mai, he velina mai, kako. Aloha.
He told me he was tuned, but he lied.
I must have touched this. I'm always grateful that when you introduce us, there is nothing more to be said, Mahina. It's really easy.
Ask me about the Mauna, and I will tell you about 30 Kanaka huddled shivering in an empty parking lot, praying the Lahui would answer the call. I will tell you about 2 nights spent caught sleeping directly under a sky scattered in stars, in air so clear, every inhale is medicine. Ask me, and I will tell you how on the 3rd morning I woke as 30 became 100, then 100 became 1,000, then 1,000 became us all, each and every one of our kupuna standing beside us. Ask me, and I will tell you the mo'olelo of 8 Kanaka chained to a cattle grate, and the kokua who sat beside us, how we were never alone in the malu of the Mauna, how no one is ever alone in the malu of our Mauna. Ask me, and I will recount their names, all 38, who one by one showed us mo'opuna how to stand, how I wept and wept as I quietly held their names in my chest. Ask me, and I will sing the song of our Manawahine, linked arms and unafraid, who stood in the face of a promise of sound cannons and mace. Ask me, and I will tell you that I have been transformed here, but I won't have the words to quite explain. I will say, I don't know exactly who I will be when this ends. I don't know who exactly we will be when this ends. But at the very least, I'll know that this ʻāina did everything it could to feed me. That will be enough to keep me standing.
My friends and I would sometimes roam the trails of Maunakea, and in the evening we'd come home to see her standing there. The moon moves around her when she sleeps. The clouds stand beside her when she weeps. And I could be forgotten and 1,000 miles away, and still I would recall the beauty of Maunakea. And I live in the city call the beauty Maunakea. Now to many lands you go, she will be with you if you love her like we do.
Mahalo nui. Iko ohana osorio. Way to make us all cry. Good thing, you know, good thing I don't wear makeup anymore because I don't leave the house.
It's Kūola Beamer making us cry.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Mahalo, mahalo. That's another papa. Mahalo, Papa Kūola Beamer. But out of your guys' mouth, out of just everything that's going on, mahalo, mahalo, Papa Osorio. And Heoli. You guys did good on that one. That's a good, John. You guys did really good on that one, on the naming. Heolimeleikalani. Like how perfect. Perfect. That's all of you guys who go name your guys babies. Yeah. Names mean a lot. Then you can have people who speak and sing like that so beautifully. And be Kamaka Vivo Ole, just like Papa John. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna turn our attention to another one of our guests this year at Nā Hua Ea. For those of you guys who are just joining us, coming into the room, well, first of all, if you're just joining us, you miss a lot already, a lot of good stuff, but I'm sure it'll be recorded. Can I get a nod? Is it going to be? So it's going to live, right? It's going to be recorded and it's going to live on the Nā Hua Ea page. And so you can catch up with everybody else. Yeah. So we have a lot more in store for everyone tonight. And I'd like to bring forward Jayla Henderson, who is a UH student also, and she's also working with the Commission on the Status of Women, right? Sharing an Aloha ʻāina poem called Love and Lepo. Aloha, Jayla.
Aloha, Kako. This is my decolonial love letter to a wahine of color. He tells me roses are red, but I've always preferred ula. Ula like the spectrum of skins from honua to lehua, and every ohelo, a'ali'i, and ili in between. Yet I'm always told that ula means red. Well, lepo can be ula too. But even when she's deep, deep brown, she feeds everything she touches. From her rich color sprouts life. Ilima la wa'e, it is lepo that gives life. The trees branch out, leaving her below. Too often the koa forget that she once carried them within her. That she is what their roots must cling to, and she made them warriors. Lepo is a warrior. He lepo ka'aya Hawaii, a ma'ononoi ka lepo. Lepo is the skin you have to learn to love. But I have learned that because I am ula, I am sacred. And because I am lepo, I am rich. My skin too shelters iwi. So am I also the reincarnation of the lepo skins who piled on miles of earth just to show us the depths of our existence. Then I must also be lehua in her resting state, not waiting to bloom, but secure in her ula. Lepo is la'a, lepo is lama, lepo is love. Mahalo.
Oh yeah, mahalo Jayla for that. Yes, yes. And remember I was told a while ago that lepo is not dirty, it's just dirt, right? And if you study, and that's deep, so you guys might want to take that in for a moment, right? Lepo, it's not dirty, it's just dirt. And in the La'o Lapa'au community, we've learned, you know, lepo, he ai, lepo, he ola, lepo, he la'au too. So mahalo for that. Mahalo for that, Jayla. Now we're going to show a video, and if we can have our, I think it's Cam, that's going to play our video. Just Makaukou for this video coming forward now, or Makamai is going to play a video about RIMPAC. Right, and if you guys don't know what RIMPAC is a military exercise that happens every year, I believe, in Hawaii, and out. There's activities that happen on shore and those that happen out across our oceans, with many countries across the world coming and converging on Hawaii. It's been very destructive. It's destructive for our Kanaloa, destructive for our Honua, and you know, very destructive to our Kanaka also. So 13 indigenous poets from Hawaii, Aotearoa, and Guahan came together to write and record a poem calling for the cancellation of RIMPAC and for the restoration of Ea, life, breath, and sovereignty. The poem contributors, in order of appearance, are Dr. Emalani Case, Dr. Brandy Nalani McDougall, Grace Iwashita Taylor from Aotearoa, Kelly Mackenzie, Emily Killing, Bobby Millar, Billy Kinney, A.A. Hedge Koch, Nadine Ann Hura, Tafana Chadwick, Keisha Borja, Kichocho Calvo, Jamaica, Heolimeleikalani Osorio, Loke Alaua, and directed and edited by the one, the only, Mr. Mikey Inoue.
In a world without RIMPAC, Papa will bear down smiling through the pain of birth, no longer afraid of losing her child to bombs. She will breathe, and we will breathe. Yeah.
In a world without RIMPAC, there is breath enough to stand against the torpedoing teeth, the amphibious assaults, underwater explosions, the nuclear bombs, and billions of dollars and bullets of peacetime that continue elsewhere. Breath enough to salve these and so many wounds, to sing so loud we drown all submarine sonar.
In a world without war games on our watery blue body, there is no place for hungry egos, no place for triggering weapons into the belly of the rich, vast blue Moana, because she will breathe. Free, freely, freedom, chanting, my body is not your playground.
In a world without militarization, words like colonization and occupation become words used in the past tense. What possibilities emerge when we are free? Islands as space for creative growth and true security. The entire Pacific Ocean unafraid to breathe.
In a world without nuclear warfare, Tahitian, Marshallese, Hawaiian, indigenous lives would be celebrated without hierarchy based on dollars and euros, without fear for our smallness or isolation, needing the protection of empire, unfurling a pandemic of radiation, contamination, and sickness. All lives would be created equal.
In a world without deception, no one believes that security is a function of bullets.
In a world without naval sonar, a song returns from the vast assembly of cerulean gods to an altar of coral and island anchored to this blue chorus. From the depths of obscurity, Kanaloa Ea, a tubulous mele from which we all do our living. The source is stable, Ola.
In a world without war, no child will bear a ballistic horizon, only clouds, skies, waves will thunder.
In a world without appropriation, our language will be unstolen. Te mana, te kaha, rest from the crest of Her Majesty New Zealand ships of war.
In a world without naval frigates, Eva traverses the royal Moana Nui, the star command blue sky merging into the navy blue Pacific. Kiwa fishes for islands across the ultramarine, hauling up Hawaii necessary respite.
In a world without war, we wouldn't have to wonder if we'd wake to bombs being dropped on our villages, or question if our hanam was clean enough to drink, our golai safe enough to eat. No trespassing signs and fence lines wouldn't dictate the journeys of our tano and our tasi. We'd be islanders connecting through constellations and canoes, sitting under coconut trees, sharing origin stories, chewing pu'u, brown bodies dancing, islander hearts beating, ancestral dreams come true.
In a world without bombs, we honor generations of Ike. We seed forests of koa. We stand in the malu of our sacred mountains, plant our ieve in the frigid waters. We stare back at ʻāina and see our reflections, kneel down and are fed. In a world without bombs, we rise from the sea they tried to conquer. Ea, mai ke kai mai.
In a world without militancy, silk breaths line her womb. Finally, she can breathe.
Yeah. Wow. It ended with a punch. Right there. Oh, mahalo, mahalo. We have some joining us tonight. I saw Tuwila was on messaging, but I don't see her on the screen here. Jamaica, of course, is here. We haven't, Dr. Case is still teaching class because in Aotearoa, it's Monday. I was like, who teaches on Sunday afternoons? What kind of university is that? And I was like, oh yeah, one's where they're a day ahead. Yeah, that's who teaches on Sunday nights here. Mahalo, mahalo. Again, if for those of you guys who are out there, if you don't know enough about RIMPAC, we've been making a lot of noise. A lot of Hawaiians have been very, and actually our Pacific peoples across the Pacific have been out there trying to educate the world to the devastations that are caused by overall militarism, but these specific actions here. So cancel RIMPAC. Yes, I don't know if anybody knows what the state of RIMPAC is right now. If it's heard, it's on. It's going, right? And it's happening, right? I'm getting a nod from different people, and it's happening right now. Supposedly curtailed somewhat, but still yet in the time of a pandemic, especially anytime, but especially during the time of a pandemic when people coming onto our shores from away is particularly devastating to our health and well-being. This is very concerning, you know, for many of us. So mahalo to all you poets for putting that film together. And of course, Mikey Inoue, I don't know if he's listening in out there, but mahalo for all the documenting that you have been doing over the years, and especially in the last year of everything that's been going on. Mahalo. Our next guest hails all the way from the island of Kauai, from Hanapepe Salt Ponds out in Hanapepe. She is, first of all, my ko'ana, and then she is the fabulous host of Le'a Nue Nue, which, if you don't know what that is, it is, if you go to the Kanaio Kana and or the Hawaii Nui A'akea Facebook platforms, you will see every Tuesday, actually Wednesday now too with Aikole, right? So Le'a Nue Nue is on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. And we have Aikole on, well, it seems like Aikole, which is the Hawaiian language focused area, is anytime they want. I swear, they're on all kinds of times. But if you want Hawaiian language content, it's on that same platform. And then on Friday afternoons is Nā Hua, no, not Nā Hua Ea, Huewai Ola, yeah, which is the Ahakane showcase on Friday afternoons at 2 o'clock. But Le'a Nue Nue was a response to COVID-19, everybody got sent home on quarantine. And now we had a lot of people at home, a lot of ohana at home. And what we needed was content, right? What we needed was to change and adapt the way that we communicate with each other, the way we learn, the way we teach, and the way that we get information across to each other. We had to adapt. So my tita Malia from, oh, that's a song, yeah? Malia, my tita. From Kauai, works with Uahikeaikalei'ohu, the School of Hawaiian Knowledge with Papa Osorio, and also a member of the Kaneo'okana Network, the Sakula Hawaii Network. And so she brought these two entities together to be able to host a platform where almost anybody, right, in the Hawaiian community could come and provide content. And then we all could be beneficiaries of that, right? So if you haven't, go check it out on the Kaneo'okana and the Hawaii Nui Akea Facebook pages. Some great, all kind, just the span of Ike Hawaii has been showcased on there. Yeah, so we'd like to mahalo, but that's not what she's talking about today. Right. She actually participated in a workshop that happened earlier this week, right? I think it was earlier this week. There was a poetry workshop that was conducted as part of all these events for Nā Hua Ea, and she went haku something. She's a haku mele, she's a haku lei, she's a kumuhula, right? And then she gets paid actually for being the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Community Engagement by Papa Osorio, right? From the School of Hawaiian Knowledge. So that's her actual paid gig. And then she does all this fabulous other stuff that, you know, make up the rest of her life, besides answering calls for me all the time for the million kind stuff that I need. But she's gonna share a poem with us tonight. Yeah, Miss Malia Nobrega-Olivera.
Mahalo nui e mahana mehana kuʻuhikaikaina hoʻi no ke ʻāina nani o ka pālolo. So aloha everybody, and just really excited to be joining all of you from my ʻonehanau from Hanapepe, Kauai, where I was born and raised, and just so happy to be able to bring all of this amazing kind of content together with so many friends. But yeah, I loved being a part of the workshop, the Nā Hua Ea workshop with Emma Case and so many others. And our prompt in the workshop was, in a future that is blank, we wake up to blank. And so that's kind of where we were left with, and this is kind of what I came up with. And then we were also afforded the opportunity to participate in creating an electronic zine and also a recording to be a part of a radio show. So that's been really exciting. So this is a part of what I came up with, and I would love to share it with all of you today. In a future that is salty, we wake up to all the elements. E to the vela okala, the glistening kaiemi, the low tide of kalai o pu'olo, ku'una ka iave, ukula, hanapepe, kona, kauai. The sparkling salty puna with opai ula kalepo staining my toes. The salt shelf that's sharp like a knife that Tutukane says you gotta malama. The gold, black clay that seals the ʻāina. The pohaku kahawai that rubs the earth. The salty puna that feeds the waiku. The saltier waiku that feeds all the lo'i. The elements from all directions working harmoniously. The kai that evaporates into pa'akai. The pu'u pa'akai we build together as a ohana. The pa'akai we share, we trade, we gift. He makana, he pu'olo aloha. The pa'akai that cleanses the space. The pa'akai that thrives, eola. The loina that thrives, eola. The lahui that thrives, eola. The ʻāina that thrives, eola. That feeds, that lives, ola, eola. Eola mau, eola mau e, eola mau kapu olo pa'akai o hana pepe, eola. Mahalo.
Ola, ola, ola kahaloa, ola kapa'akai. If you guys didn't know, just from that poem alone, Malia comes from Ohana, that malama the lo'i pa'akai out at Hana Pepe, which produces much of the Hawaiian pa'akai that we see being traded across our ʻāina between different ohana for different occasions. And her family has a lo'i down there that they malama for generations now. So mahalo, mahalo for that pilina. I think this is the second poem that had the color ula in it. So I think ula is the color of the day. Yeah, it fits. It fits in our Kuehu, yeah, our Kūola, yeah, and our Kūʻokoʻa theme, you know, that ula that exists. If you guys can see the Nā Hua Ea, which Noilani is representing today on this Zoom, that beautiful artwork in the back and that ruddy, right, can be maku'e, palaunu, and I would even say back to Jayla's poem, right? That's a little bit of ula too, right? And according to your guys' one too, that ula from the ʻāina. Mahalo, 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 Malia, for that. Ooh, that's the first time I ever saw my ko'ana do a poem like that. So exciting, yeah. Oh, now. So now we're gonna go to my favorite Maui mo'o, next to Kihavahine herself. Yeah. I see Kihavahine all donned in yellow, and I see Noʻu all donned in red. I don't know why, but yeah. So they balance themselves out on the island, but Noʻu Kaho'oli Revilla, when I first met her, I actually didn't meet her. I saw her performing a poem. And if you've never seen her perform a poem, so we'll see how it goes on Zoom here tonight. But if you've never seen her live and in person perform, oh, you gotta wait till all this COVID stuff pow and we can hui again. And then we gotta just invite No'u to come and do a poem, right? Because the intensity of her words, of her movement, yeah, I swear I was pulled in. I was like, no, for real, like you for real one more, because I don't get like pulled in by much people. And I literally was like moving. What am I doing? Why am I moving closer, you know, to the stage? Yeah. And that's the kind of effect this woman has. Yeah. Just with that poetry alone. So I love being in her presence. Yeah. You know, a little bit dangerous being in the presence of mo'o sometimes. Yeah. And I'm not usually scared of anybody, you know, but I'm always going to say, right, you be nice and they're nice. Yeah. If you're not nice, they're not going to be nice. Yeah. So I'm just letting everybody know here tonight. Now she is Dr. Revilla, right? Again, a writer, a performer, a professor of English at the UH Manoa, teaching creative writing with an emphasis on Native Hawaiian literatures. She led one of the co-facilitated one of the Nā Hua Ea poetry workshops this month, yeah? Presenting with her mentees who co-facilitated the workshop are both UH students, ʻIhilani Lasconia and Bella Pasa. Yeah? Dr. Revilla, he mai, komo mai.
Mehana, mahalo nui loa. That introduction was just so like Maneo, I love it. Thank you very much. And Malia, mahalo for all that salty vibes. Oh my goodness, my freshwater loving body has just gone kai after that poem. Thank you so much. Before I kind of tell you a little bit about the poem that my poetry fellows, Ihi and Bella, are gonna share with you today, they'd like to share some mahalo first.
Oh yeah, mahalo Noʻu. Name's ʻIhilani Lasconia. We just wanted to collectively take the time to say mahalo kumonoi, Aiko Mahina for creating these spaces for us. I think something that's reaffirmed for me, and I think all of us every day, is how necessary our leo is, our mele, and our poetry to sustaining us, not just in intense times of our movement, but sometimes when it feels like nothing's going on, even though like there's something happening all the time. So we just wanted to mahalo you folks for being that for us and for creating, I guess, these virtual kipuka, because they're so important and they've definitely helped carry all of us throughout these past couple months. So yeah, mahalo.
Aloha, my name is Bella Pasa, and we would also like to say mahalo to everyone that attended our workshop. During that time, we created a Nā Hua Ea together, and it's something that we want to bring to this hui and to everyone that's watching. So mahalo to all of you and all of the panelists for giving such great mana'o. Mahalo.
So as much as I would like to embrace you in a mo'o, honi, and hug, today we're gonna be kind of more centered and a little bit more relaxed. But this poem, it was inspired by our workshop for Nā Hua Ea, because we talked about Ea as daily practices. And the language and the imagery that came out of our workshop was such a blessing. And this spirit is in line with being pilina to the people who came before us. So we are actually writing to continue from the last 4 lines of Haunani K. Trask's poem, Sons. We're taking her 4 last lines and we are starting this new poem called Daughters. Haunani told us, I stay behind, weaving fine baskets of resilience to carry our daughters in. We are the daughters, and we stay too.
We stay iluna, digging and planting. We create spaces for our kaikomahine.
We are bright shoots of kupu-kupu, our bodies growing evidence that there is life after violence.
Hovering above the dreams our kupuna have for us, we wrap our wounds in the rope of their resistance. Healing is binding. Our backs are the bridge that connects generations.
We stay ilalo. Here we sit under hina, crossing our legs and twisting our la'i. We welcome your daughters with open baskets, ready to carry and to chant to them the stories of your scent.
Our skin stain the colors of the earth. We sculpt mounds of lepo for huli to grow and keep us grounded.
And we are learning to breathe even underwater so that none of us drown again.
We stay mamua. Sometimes front lines look like kitchen tables and passenger seats. The most important victories are the ones that happen within our lahui. To champion change is to know hurt by name.
To place flowers like genealogy behind our ears is to hear our kupuna. During this time of Renaissance, our daughters embody Ea.
And we daughters are asking for permission from the past as well as the future, so that maybe sacred can become important to everybody.
We stay mahope.
Mahope.
Hope.
We continue digging and replanting the stories of our daughters.
We stay, every breath an act of resistance.
We stay mahope.
We stay mahope.
We stay mahope.
hiki ke aloha ʻāina hope loa.
Mahalo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mahalo. Mahalo for that. You beautiful, beautiful women. Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much for those words. ʻIhilani and Bella, is this your guys' first time doing poetry, a poetry performance?
Kind of, yeah. Kind of nuts that we did a workshop before we actually shared poetry, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
Good to be here.
No. That's awesome. That's a feature of Nā Hua Ea that I want, people to know about, right? Because again, we're gonna see each other next year, right? And one of the reasons you should come again and again and again is because these great mentors, these great professors are constantly bringing into the fold young people, new people, allies are coming in from all over the place. Yeah, that's the beauty of Nā Hua Ea. Yeah, bring in the hua so that they too can mohala mai. So mahalo for that. Awesome. I'm gonna call another young person who's out there from the island of Molokai. This young woman has designed the where's Noi? Let me just open up my screen again and just make sure that she's on here. So that beautiful logo that we see here for La Ho'i Ea and Nā Hua Ea, the Kuehu, Kūola, Kūʻokoʻa was designed by Kapili Naehu-Ramos. She's a poet and visual artist. And Kapili created the art and flyer for this year's Nā Hua Ea. And she is, drum roll please, she is or was, I'm not sure if they had graduations yet because of all the graduations, right? But the valedictorian for Molokai High School class of 2020. Yes, you all. We have a valedictorian in the room right now. And Kapili is one of the hua right there. We have some babies who are growing up, with this particular event, right? Not only celebrating La Ho'i Ea, which we have, Chogo Hana that come, usually down to Thomas Square, right, towards the ending of the month. But Nā Hua Ea has its own po'ai, its own punana of keiki too, and this one comes from her mommy and daddy. Of course, we're gonna see a little bit later in the show tonight, but now we'd like to bring forward Kapili Naehu-Ramos.
Aloha mai kako. Woo! I'm from Molokai, as Mehana shared with us, and tonight I'm gonna share a poem with you guys. Seeds incubate at the base of my tongue and the lining of my lungs. Pollen pools in the strands of my hair, rough like vines. It dusts my cheeks in yellow and hangs onto the heavy summer air. I cough up gardens and honey till my chest aches and my sternum splits, spilling ferns and flowers that creep across my belly and down my limbs. Then I sing. I sing with a voice that sounds like twigs snapping underfoot, like boulders and stones clashing in a flash flood. I sing like the pattering of a thunderstorm with a voice that rustles trees. I sing like the crashing of the sea echoing across the valley's walls. I sing at the top of my lungs until I'm screaming and I'm finally loud enough for someone to hear. I don't stop until my voice is hoarse and the bullfrogs carry on my song. Even then, I rasp and whisper until sleep grips me by the throat and my eyes flutter shut. A fresh new dawn creeps on rosily, and when the leaves turn, I am a falling tree. settling into stillness, petrified. I am rough and brown and moist with the dew of morning tears. I become a home for those who crawl beneath your feet. Colonies of bugs nestle in the dampened husk of my body. Worms crawl between me and the dirt. The soft, soft dirt that gathers in my nails and soothes my cracked skin. The soft, soft dirt, a black-brown balm, a red clay paste, a bed of silken silt, lepo, and I want it to swallow me whole. It is then that you come to me, with a voice like 10,000 warriors looking for a last place to stand. My eyes are heavy. Wake up, you say. My arms are heavy. Our fight has not ended, you say. My legs are heavy. Wake up, I am so heavy. You need to see. My eyes are heavy. Still, I lift them up to meet your voice. Behind you are tens and thousands of faces in the shades of the earth. Some carry others on their back. Some crouch. Some kneel. My eyes are heavy, they say. So are mine. My tough bark skin softens at the joints. You lift me up off the ground. I hear leaves rustling. I exhale. I stand. We sing and we shout, and then we celebrate. Mahalo.
Oia, mahalo e haumea, e walinu'u, e papahana moku. Mahalo, mahalo, halo. Right on. And again, if you guys missed my intro to her, that artwork for Nā Hua Ea, yep, that was all her doing. Yeah. So now, actually, we're gonna ask one of our good friends, our titas out there, Miss Anjali Roy, who is the host of, I just love the name of your podcast. I just love it. It's called It's Lit with PhDJ Anjali Roy. Right? That's so clever. I wish I thought of it. Yeah, PhDJ Mehanokala. Right? But no, I can't do it now because you got it. But thank you. Can you share with everyone the opportunity that you have for all these great poets up here?
Yes, thank you so much, Mahina. You're welcome to come and be the host anytime you want. You can be PhDJ. I would be happy to have you do it. You're amazing. This is just going to be real quick, but basically I wanted to extend an opportunity just to folks, obviously for the poets who are sharing these incredible works this evening. It's just like washing over me, and I feel so amazed and inspired as I do every year at Nā Hua Ea. But essentially the podcast that we do, I co-host it with Jocelyn Mailelani, and it's a music and literature podcast. And so we wanted to invite you all to consider recording yourselves, reading your poems, like maybe on your smartphone. Doesn't have to be anything intense if you don't have the equipment. But then you can actually pair it with a song, and we would do some special episodes to continue what's being kind of sown and started today into the coming weeks. So that would be amazing. So if you are reading today, you're more than welcome to submit. If you're attending this and you're feeling inspired, this is the nature of call and response. And I would be so amazed also to invite and welcome folks to send over materials to us also in response to what you're hearing today, if you feel so moved. But I think basically what I'll do is, if you want, you can send me a message in the chat, maybe privately. You could just send me your email address and I can send you more information. And otherwise, you can find me at our email address, which is, which I'll also put in the chat, but it's lit with phdj@gmail.com. So that's it. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be quiet now and go back to enjoying myself. You're amazing. Mihana, you're amazing.
No, totally. Mahalo nui for that. Again, I think we all did a combined piece at one point. There's a bunch of us who got in on one, and it was such a great experience. We all just recorded stuff on our phone and sent it into her. So mahalo for providing those opportunities to get more legs on our poetry and put it out there. Oops. Sorry, that's what happens when you Zoom from home. You have doggy interruptions. Yeah, okay, wait, I'll let him growl over there for a little bit. Coming up from the island of Hawaii, from Waimea, Hawaii, in the malu of Maunakea and the Kohala Mountains. We have our Tita who is all the way across Kanaloa down into Ika'amaui right now in Aotearoa, changing things and ku'ehuing down there and kicking up dust down there and also helping our cousins down there and being nurtured by our Maori cousins down there. Dr. Emalani Case, right, again, originally from Waimea, is a writer in Aloha Hawaii and English. She teaches in Pacific Studies at Victoria University in Wellington, Aotearoa. This year, Emalani led one of the Nā Hua Ea poetry workshops and helped us all to tap into our freedom dreams, inspired by Robin D.G. Kelly's book of the same name. Now, she also has a very inspiring blog, you know, that if you guys haven't touched into it, right, go friend her on Facebook if she has any more friend slots left. And then you can, you know, get in touch when she starts putting out her writings down there. Very, like, just super connected, super in touch. Every time I read one, you know, I start getting creative and want to write myself, you know. So that's the kind of mother she has. She came home for a little while and tricked us and made like she was going to stay here for a little while, you know, and then she went right back down to Aotearoa. Yeah. But mai kai ke la, you know, like our Hawaii, right, of yesteryear when we did, what was that journey, you know, I'll go look it up. Noelani Arista writes about it on how, you know, a lot of our Kanaka went across the world and helped influence thoughts and thinking and practice, you know, amongst people all over the world. So that's your mission, Dr. Case, and I've come to terms with it. I'm not hurt that you left us again. Yeah, everybody, Dr. Emalani Case.
Ke aloha nui a kākou, kia ora koutou. Wow, thank you for that beautiful introduction. And I apologize for running in late. As you know, we are a day ahead in Aotearoa, so I'm at work and I just ran out of class and came here and tried to log on. So it's so beautiful to be here and to see all of you and yeah, and to share this space. So I just thought I would share the poem that I wrote for the poetry workshop that that Noi and Aiko asked me to lead a couple of weeks ago. And we did focus on freedom dreams. You know, something I often talk about with my students is that sometimes we focus so much on what we're fighting against that we haven't taken the time to sit down and think about what we're fighting for, down to the details, like what wakes us up in the morning. And so this is my little freedom dream poem. And some of the poets who I was really honored to work with, we put together a little zine of poetry and art. And so I've shared that with Aiko and Noi, and hopefully we can share that more widely as well, so that you can read some poetry and be nourished by some beautiful, colorful freedom dreams. So here's my little contribution with aloha to all of you. Yes, from Aotearoa, but always with Hawaii in my heart. So here we go. In a future that is with us, we wake up to shake off seeds of doubt planted in our skins, to find in our veins the call to rise, to who, like mighty waves, sweeping across generations, across archipelagos. In a future that is with us, we wake up to memories of movement, Kuehu. In a future that is now, we wake up to greet the sun, bending down, watching shadows dance on dry earth. We plant seeds of hope in land reclaimed, nourishing them with poetries the color of papa. tracing hopes into soils. In a future that is now, we wake up to ourselves growing, Kūola. In a future that is here, we wake up to streams singing, flowing in tune to valley rhythms, to children bending down, catching ea in their hands, bringing it to their lips, tasting freedom. In a future that is here, we wake up to dreams realized, Kūʻokoʻa. Ai, oia wale, mahalo nui.
Mahalo, 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 Dr. Case. Mahalo for leading that discussion, earlier. Again, I think Malia was in your papa, and that poem resulted out of that. Yeah, great things. Thank you for taking that time out of all your work down in Aotearoa to share with us and connect with us. And I'm glad that we have this option now of Zoom where we can bring you from Aotearoa, yeah, to join us. So Maika Iloa, I'm gonna ask, we have the Paniolo Prince and Queen Maile, we have them sitting in the wings, and they was gonna go on right after Kapili earlier, right? So they was probably like, what the hell is Mahina doing? Why is she putting all kinds of people? But if there's anything you gotta know about the Paniolo Prince, is he's like that bull. That bull that you get inside right before the bull ready for go out and chow the guy off his back? That's him. He's there inside there right now, like scratching his feet. So I'm gonna make him wait a little bit longer just so Noi can talk about some paluletis, right? Because I like him when he come out, I like him bust out, like bust all the fences, broke them down, chow the guy off, and then run all the way to Kaunakakai. Yeah, because that's how I know the kind of energy he gonna bring. Solid. But Noilani, you like talk a little bit about some of the merch that we get?
Sure, real quick. Mahalo nui mehana, and my hoapili, Paniolo Prince and Queen Maile, the consummate performers, so they're always ready.
Yeah.
But I won't take up too much of their time. We have the Nā Hua Ea shirts this year. I don't know if you guys can see them. But we wanted to just let you folks know that they're going to be available at the Huli giveaway. So Hanale and Homestead Poi are going to be doing Huli giveaway this coming Saturday at Kawaiwai, 9 a.m. to 11, and maybe longer if they stay. But we're going to have the shirts there. We also have a link on the Nā Hua Ea Facebook page for Teespring. So if you don't feel comfortable leaving your hale, you can just order and they mail directly to you. And as always, the t-shirts are 100% of the proceeds go to making our public programming available every year. Yeah, there's our little la'i Puʻuhonua.
Noilani, I wanted to ask you a question. Usually I see those are all the past t-shirts.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anybody, who are you guys honoring this year? Or
so, we didn't want two things. We didn't want to deprive any kupuna of the face-to-face kind of honoring that we do every year. We like to bring the kupuna and their families and sing to them and let them tell their stories and tell stories about them. But also because we're in this time of the pandemic where we really have to malama our kupuna, they're so cherished, but more vulnerable to the pandemic. We just wanted to double down on honoring all of our kupuna. So these are the 14 kupuna who Nā Hua Ea Honolulu has honored over the last 7 years.
That is so awesome. I can't wait to get my hand on them. The layout is beautiful. Who did the layout this year?
So yeah, sorry, I should say that again. The art every year since we've been doing this is Nikila Badua.
That's right.
Mama Wisdom, who does the art for us every year. We're just so grateful for her talent.
That's totally dope. I love how, and those pictures look so real. They look like, photographs dropped in.
They do,
and they're all from different times in those people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's the really dope part, Like it's them at like their pinnacle, right? Those pictures, those images that we remember.
Yep.
Awesome. Yep. So you guys haven't got one, right? I think it ships to Aotearoa, Emalani, and Tawila. So you guys can order your guys ones too. Okay, so now I know that he all stretched out. He was doing his warm-up exercises over there. I saw him stretching his arms. Just like when pro athlete getting ready, like he getting ready for play football right now. He forgot that this is the kind. We're doing Maile tonight. We're doing Maile tonight. Yeah. But this is one of the brothers. I love his energy and Maile's energy. Every year they come from Molokai to Oahu up to Papahana, and they just kill it. Right? They come, they leave everything out there on the pa for all of us to enjoy. They get us all riled up, and then we sing Hawaii Aloha. and then we all like the kind, like, okay, group hug. This is a Lahui hug time, right? That's what these guys get us ready for. So mahalo nui again for you guys. Without further ado, Paniolo Prince and Queen Maile.
So I'm gonna turn them over to my wife, but coming out of the shoots, guns blazing, we're gonna do 2 songs, just to let you guys know. Okay, a little bit intro, a little bit more, but we're gonna do 2 songs. Okay, so
this first one is, you know, in honor of our beautiful Maunakea, our kupuna, and we wrote it last year. Actually, we wrote it about 2 years ago, and last year when the ahu was dismantled, we had it in our back pocket. And we were actually in Hilo, right? You know, when it happened, and Dynamite from Southern Rush called us and he said, hey, you know that song? You can sample for me at my house. Now's the time. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, you know? So we played with the words. We changed the wording around and we made it so that everybody could say it. And we changed the original words to flock instead of the other word, the other F word. Get the flock off our mountain. It wasn't the original words. And I actually had a vision of sheep all over the Mauna, and I had never really been kama'aina to Maunakea. And so when I finally got a chance to go up, Nanakila and Anuenue took us up to Puʻuhonua, and he said, you know, right over here, the new flow from Mauna Loa had sheep all over. And I was like, what? So the flock refers to sheep, following a shepherd blindly, naively, and we are not sheep. So we're not referring to the Kanaka. We're referring to the people who just go, okay, yeah, and agree to do stupid things.
Yeah.
So that's what it refers to. Get the flock off our mountain.
Quote, it's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war.
Polole, polole.
You guys can hear. Get the flock off our mountain. You get the flock off our mountain. Cause we will never run. Cause we love more than we scared of your guns. Get the flock off our mountain. You get the flock off our mountain. Cause we will never run. Cause we love more than we scared of your guns. Open our eyes, see a better way. Work together for a more collective say. Not go half a call, go all the way. We're living in the blessed era of Max Holloway. It is what it is, a champ grind every day. Steady banging, ʻāina o Hawaiʻi. Jedi guardians of the galaxy, non-fiction, non fallacy. Our home, not a theme park, museum or gallery. Off the grid, down in the valley, living sustainably and happily. What we need, we get plenty. Nobody cranky. Go easy spanky with your hanky panky. Ho auntie, making big noise, and we got them listening, chanting, singing, dancing, and we whispering. In a battle never ending, Mauna defending, trending. This rebellion beginning to the happy ending. Get the flock off our mountain. You get the flock off our mountain. Cause we will never run. Cause we love more than we scared of your guns. Get the flock off our mountain. You get the flock off our mountain. Cause we will never run. Cause we love more than we scared of your guns. In this circle of assassins, we use words as weapons, tearing tyranny apart while we're teaching lessons, chanting down this Babylon system on pressing, lighting up the darkness, cleaning messes and spreading blessings. ready, willing, and restless. Kia in frontliners in the trenches, ready to wreck shit. Dug in deep on heavy gangster beat. Bring the heat, never back down, surrender or retreat. Small victories, slight adjustments, press repeat. Our stories we now speak, we no need sneak. Nature over concrete is how snatching victory from your jaws of defeat. Get the flock off our mountain. You get the flock off our mountain. Cause we will never run. Cause we love more than we scared of your gun.
Kila kila ka Nā Hua Ea e ho'olo no I ka pu'uwai. O ka laui aloha ina ho'ina kia I mai uka keke. E hulia e huli mai e hulia e huli mai e hulia e huli mai e. E hulia e huli mai e hulia e huli mai e hulia e huli mai. Ku kila kila ka Nā Hua Ea e ho'olo no I ka pu'uwai. O ka laui aloha ina ho'ina kia I mai uka keke. E hulia e huli mai e hulia e huli mai e hulia e huli mai e. E hulia e huli mai e hulia e huli mai e hulia e huli mai e.
Yeah. Get the flock off our mountain. You get the flock off our mountain. Cause we will never run. Cause we love more than we scared of your guns.
Yeah.
We don't have too much time for celebrate.
One more.
We love you guys. To all the Kiai out there, especially when we was in the cold, freezing, Okole, boom, bang, false alarming, oh.
With all this craziness going on in the world today, we can only pray that we never, ever, ever have to leave this beautiful place that we call home. A friend of ours in Aotearoa, she said last year they came to visit us and a conversation came up and I said, if we were ever pushed out of here for some reason that I can't even imagine, would you open your home to us across the ocean? And she said, of course, Tita. And then she just wrote a post recently with this pandemic and she said, we made this promise last year and same time last year, and she said, and now this year, I would never imagine that. We cannot see each other even if we want to. So this song is called Never Ever, and it speaks about never ever having to leave home.
We're gonna release them soon. And on the third verse, our Iranian brother, Persian, Naveed Najafi, I call him the genie, he get the third verse, okay, and he gonna bring them home.
And he actually talks about having to leave home.
Having to leave home.
Iran,
so this song is
boy and having no choice. So
for all you guys.
it's heavy.
Brother Kuike, all you Hawaiians down in Oahu, love you guys.
Yeah.
Gotta face military. We all face them together. We'll never leave this place. Ever. Protect our mama. To all the Wahines in the world, yes, sir. Love you guys. I would never ever leave this place, but what if they had guns in your face, spraying you with mace, and your family disappear with no evidence and no trace? I'd still never leave this place, but what if your family space got sold and replaced and you got chased out? Too brown was the color of your face. I'd still never leave this place, but what if your fate is locked to sacred things, locked in a case in some far off place, left there like you to rot and waste? I'd still never leave this place, but what if every space of your place had a trace, poison and plastic, contaminated, tragic, and you gotta exodus to space?
Listen up.
Settle down, no fuss, no fight. Be original, none cover or bite. Just do us fat Nazi, hammer down and bust. Paniolo go for the gusto. Now the scrub go and bite dust. Make music to fight for what's right. My lyrics woven tight, highlight, make bright, shine the light on our people's plight. Go viral heights overnight. Scream, I am here like all might. In the ʻāina I trust, money I have no lust. Stop all the minusing cuz it's a must to use the plus symbol. Nifty and nimble, when I call up, turn down like Jorge Masvidal, we're about to slice Kimball. Make Babylon bells go jingle like Kris Kringle. I'm your Huckleberry boy, you Johnny Ringo. Bingo bango, side stepping, hitting combos and angles, tattooing triangles. Fuck your star bangles. Mana up with our feet stuck in the ground. Aloha on, force field, activated and surrounds. Feel the energy in nature where the power found. Raise your chakra, hear the crackling sound. Lightning racing through your body, making the heart pound. Pendulum swinging and it's coming back around. Uahikeaikalei'ohu, ilalo. Everybody face them down. We gotta see your hands separate the chant from the clown.
Sing it with me.
Yeah. See, just like I said, right? Bust down the, right.
Controlled. Yeah, we love you guys. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much for letting us share. Now, Jaffe gonna do the last verse, I think, when he power, but okay. Love you guys.
Mahalo for the Paniolo Prince. And of course, Queen Maile always representing like that. Always representing that. Yeah, Queen Maile, shout outs to you. They also have, Maile, you also have a online school that you're doing, right? Hello, Hoaka? You stay mute.
Kahale Hoaka.
Kahale Hoaka.
Yeah, and you can find it kahalehoaka.com. We have an FB page, we have an IG page, we have a YouTube page. But tell them about the TV series.
Okay, so Kahale Hoaka is, she teaches online classes. We have free stuff available. We have a paid course available. We also have another arm of it called Kahale Hoaka Explores. I'm bringing all of my kia'i loko ike and coming back home to Kumimi, and we're gonna go fix Ohalahala. And we're gonna take everybody on this journey with us.
Oh, yeah.
And it's aimed for kids, resource management, scientific exploration done on Hawaiian lands.
So we're making, it's just an indigenous science TV show for Keiki.
And funny.
We release it next week and it's really funny and it's exploring
totally
our ʻāina.
Yeah, check them out. Be ready for them.
Yeah. I've been seeing it come across my Facebook page, Kahale Hoaka. You guys, if you guys haven't heard of it, go check it out.
We have lots of stuff going on, yeah.
Yeah, mahalo, all the way from Molokai Pule O'o. And over there, they do all kinds of stuff with the O'o. They pule O'o. They dig the lepo with the O'o. And if you act wrong, you better watch that O'o coming for you. Get mahalo iko Molokai. Now we're gonna go to Dr. Keith Cross, aka Dr. Bars. Now I just got introduced to Dr. Bars a few months ago, you know, and I saw his name coming across, you know, a lot of the social media, my friends and so forth was passing some of his things around, you know, and I asked him to friend on Facebook and been following your work. So thank you for all the things that you do. You're a musician, a professor of education at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and you have a new album, The Kings Lessons Volume 1, that is available online now. So I'm assuming it's you know, Amazon and on Apple on Apple Music also. So follow him on Instagram at DOCTA Doctor, DOCTA BARZ, at Dr. Bars. Dr. Bars, take it away.
All right, mahalo, Mahana. Aloha, everybody. What I'm gonna do is, I needed another microphone because I'm not one of those people who can sing sitting down. And then also, I brought my grandmothers in when we were bringing our elders in, but also want to bring in a lady named Brenda Caldwell, Winnamacapuna, and she used to sing this song that I use as the hook in what I'm about to do. And what I'm doing is just like bringing together two verses from two of the songs on the King's Lesson Volume 1 album. The first one is called Ink and Bone, and the second one is called The Elders Chapter 4. No, was it Chapter 4? Yeah, The Elders Chapter 4. And basically what both of these songs are about, or really has to do with like all of us being, you know, we all have this mo'okuau how as people who are sort of driven to write poetry, to write mele, and sort of keep humanity on pace. And so that's kind of what this is about. So thank you for your attention, and here we go. All a cappella. You gave me eyes to see, and I'm glad, so glad about it, so glad about it. You gave me eyes to see, and I'm glad, so glad about it, so glad about it. I'm from a long line of tribes, scribes, and oracles that baptize human minds when the horrors grow. We keep records of what the righteous ought to know and put our prophecies in songs so they portable. Long before the first of the Old Testaments, when sexist patriarchs perverted the old messages, when greed turned human benevolence into decadence, and fear turned our nature from excellence into pestilence, my makers summoned me to craft words cunningly. Every time the end of the days return, they come for me and number me. One among 144,000 writers of a song that don't nobody know until we spit it in a flow. For the remnants of humanity to heed once the earth is done cleansing through calamity. Like COVID, like waters rising. You gave me eyes to see, and I'm glad, so glad about it. So glad about it. You gave me eyes to see, and I'm glad, so glad about it. So glad about it. She said the winged unicorn Pegasus wasn't a myth. It was the work of geneticists. Your history's filled with irreverent and devilish men whose pride won't let them quit till Armageddon hit. Each flood is Earth's response to their gross negligence to show them they delicate and teach them the proper etiquette. When heaven sent prophets to interpret the evidence, they hired lesser men to discredit them or beheaded them. That's why we made gravity and death, to keep man's folly and depravity in check. It's a foolproof system. Every time you forget, Earth washes you away and the balance is reset. The wise see the signs, adapt and survive. But the fool put his faith in his own lives, blinded by his pride. And as the waters rise every time, he dies searching for his salvation in the skies. Like telescopes on Maunakea. Consider this. You really think you got better astronauts and physicists than Kamunu or Nimrod? The difference is longer lives gave them more time to plan. And like Icarus, they failed. And yet the same ignorance prevails. You think the ancients had less wisdom than yourselves. But time will eventually tell when your descendants look back and find you primitive as well. You gave me eyes to see, and I'm glad, so glad about it, so glad about it. I said you gave me eyes to see, and I'm glad, So glad about it. So glad about it. I said, I'm so glad to be alive. That's how Sister Caldwell used to do it. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui, Dr. Vars. Can I ask you, where do you hail from? Where do you come from?
Originally from Los Angeles, South Central LA. Right now I'm in Makakilo. And yeah.
No, that your voice, man, your voice. Just mahalo. Mahalo for that gifts today. Mahalo for sharing your ancestors with us and bringing them to meet our ancestors here on this plane today. Mahalo. That was awesome. I need to get, again, his album is out on Apple Music, Amazon, all of those great places. Yeah, go get his music online. If you haven't friended him yet on Instagram, go ahead and do that also at Dr. Bars. Our next guest tonight that we're bringing to the mic is a Nā Hanohano Award winner, a two-time Nā Hanohano Award winner. And I think he won the first, did you win the first Nā Hanohano Award for rap music, for hip hop here in Hawaii?
Yeah, it was the first year that hip hop had its own category in 2012.
Right. So, you know, me and my friends go to the Hokus every year, support music that's being made here in Hawaii and support Hawaiian music also. And when I saw this category come up, I was so hyped because I always say I can speak English, I can speak Hawaiian, and I can speak hip hop because, hello, all the greats were born the year I was born. We old as shit, but you know, we still hip hop. Yeah. Go check, go Google that if you're not thinking so. Biggie, Tupac, Jay-Z, they're all my age, people. Okay, youngins. But Hawaii hip hop, right? And the Hawaii hip hop scene is not a particularly large scene at all. You know, but there's some great artists that are coming out, and Naveed has been kind of leading the pack, right, amongst a lot of the hip hop artists here in Hawaii that's been moving. And now there's a lot more coming out, like Punahele, that is very aloha ʻāina. That's not how it always was here in Hawaii, right? So yeah, and Paniolo Prince and Punahele can kind of attest to that, right? So Naveed and the work that you've been doing, you know, is kind of helping us, you know, helping all of us, right, cross over in the hip hop landscape, you know, here in Hawaii. Of course, we got some other greats. The community, I love the hip hop community here in Hawaii, although small, right? But let me get back, right? Naveed Najafi, otherwise known as Illnomatic, right, is from Tehran, Iran, a founding member of the Super Groupers, and a two-time, like I said earlier, Nā Hanohano Award winner. Yeah, Naveed is an educator and a tireless supporter of Aloha ʻāina hip hop. His latest album is Second Language. He was born in Tehran, Iran, and a native Farsi speaker. Illnomatic considers English to be his second language, but discovered that music can be a language to connect across divides. So yeah, brother, bring it to the stage. Mahalo nui for joining us.
Mahalo, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. Yeah, shout out to the Hawaii hip hop OGs, in particular Sudden Rush, Mo Illa Pillas. There's definitely a long tradition. When I first came here, it's just, you know, with social media and getting attention and things like that, sometimes the proper respects weren't given back then, but those guys are still doing it. There's a, you know, really, really good movement here. Honored to be a part of this. And before I start, I'm gonna finish up that third verse from Paniolo Prince and Queen Maile. They asked me to write the verse for Never Ever, which they talk about never wanting to leave this place, and me having to leave my place at 8 years old with my family because of, you know, the situation over there, which I'm going to speak about in the song that I'm going to perform. But just wanted to recite this verse that's gonna go on that song, and you guys will get to hear it soon. So, with honor and deepest gratitude, now I speak to Kanaka, who accepted and allowed me to eat. As a refugee, took me in and taught me to keep my ancestors in tune with every step of my feet. So even though we had to leave, our lives were at stake, geopolitical pawns for a murderous state, my family all torn apart from the greed and the hate. But we'll never forget that our people are great. But wait, I still carry the weight. The depth of the sorrow is the hardest to break. The longing for land left behind in the wake. This the diasporic trauma of a people displaced. So listen, don't ever leave this place. Paniolo Prince Molokai is the base. Keepers of the ancient ways of time and space, rebel headquarters rise like a mighty wave. So now this song that I'm gonna perform is off of my album called Hamdel, which in Farsi means like-hearted or like-minded, or literally we share the same stomach. And it's my message to the people that I left behind in Iran. Yeah, check. Yeah. I'm a thoroughbred, born in the year of the horse, but in Odrat now I speak from the source. Through forced displacement, had to flee from the shores of my birthland, crushed by religion and wars. Right, I am not for the faint of heart, a leopard-headed eagle from the people who've been torn apart, permanent scars across my Persian diaspora. Stole a revolution, sent out children to the borders to die, direct orders from God. Mother screaming, they cry, the mullah screaming jihad. Ayatollah survived, the propaganda aligned with what the West had designed. Eliminated Mossadegh, it's just a matter of time. Manoto misla hamid, ke asir ye qamid, toy dar khak vatan, manam inja bi vatan. I hugged my grandfather right before we left Iran, a poet and musician. He would always sing these songs, tales of our people outsmarting all the demons, overpowering the evil. He told me of the days when our ancestors gave the world the first call for human rights and freed the slaves. The cylinder of Cyrus, Zoroaster fire is still going strong. The bird eking through my iris. Speak to the knowledge, have to acknowledge. Ego is flawed, spirit is flawless. East to the blockage, cock in my pocket, cock in my mouth. Now I'm seen to apply. Walking the path of my ancients and promise to live with the truth at the core of our conscience. Blessed with the sweets like a soup for your Darwin. Live in the booth, I'm consumed with the process. Manoto dardo kami, hamdil dar yek badani. Dard to dard man ast. Ham duriye vatan ham ba man ast. I got a lot of things to say, but I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. This was real hard. Real pain comes with real love. I'm longing for my family, you know, is dreamed of. Like, what if we never had to leave because we were free from hatred and violence? I'm breaking through the silence, remembering we're seeds of the new year. Hyacinth, I'm high again, connected to the light of the sun. The vernal equinox, the rising of the youth has begun. I'm burning Isfan. Now I'm cleaning up my energy. I wrote this one for Pops, Aga Asghar Najafi. Goft navid, yadet nare ki hasti. Yeah, mahalo guys, thank you so much. A little out of practice on the performance side, but I appreciate you guys having me. And actually that song that we did with Paniolo Prince, I have to let it be known that Nā Hua Ea was the reason why we met in the first place, because Noe hit me up, I think it was around 2015, and invited me to go with the crew out to Molokai and meet Hanohano. So that's when this connection started. So very much appreciate Noe and Nā Hua Ea and what everybody's doing here. So mahalo and la ho'i ea.
Yeah, velo, kahai, Hawaii. Mahalo for that. Nomadic and mahalo. I think what I most appreciated, love your words in English, but mahalo for sharing your tongue with us tonight. Mahalo for sharing that from the depths of your stomach over there. I thought that was a dope, like sorry, I missed the whole beginning of your rap because I was so stuck on the meaning that you said that this is about, people who share stomach. together. That's mind blowing. That I'm still stuck on that right now. Thank you for sharing that, yo. That was deep. Mahalo. Woo! And now coming up to our favorite, our favorite of the night, not only because his name is Punahele, right? He's become one of those young men. I think he first joined Nā Hua Ea and started performing. Oh, yes. And mahalo, Illnomatic, for showing his CD that he's made up there. In fact, that's one of the questions I have for him later. But, when I first saw him walk into Papahana Kūola, coming in, I was like, oh, how's this brother? He just came from work, I think, right? He was in his construction clothes, right? And then it was like, oh yeah, that's Punahele. He gonna perform tonight. I was like, right on. No stopping the grind. Come straight from work, come straight to the, straight to Nā Hua Ea and straight to, sharing some ike with us. Such a humble young man with so much to say. He comes from, if I wasn't from Palolo, I would be from Waianae, right? If I wasn't from Palolo. But I'm from Palolo.
No jump ship now.
Right. No, I'm not jumping ship. But just for happenstance, if I wasn't from Palolo, I would be from where this young man comes from, all the way to where the sun sets and where the day is just longer. In fact, because the sun don't rise over there until 11 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? They don't really see the sun. The mountain's too big in between. Same thing on the east side. The sun set at 3 o'clock in Kaneohe, in the afternoon. So, but Punahele has become, one of those consistent voices in our community, representing hip hop, right? Representing that style of delivering mele in rap, right? To all of us. And thank you, Punahele, for being not only representing that hip hop, for a lot of us, but doing it just so damn good, right? It's just so damn good. I listen to your stuff and I just like, I want to like throw a shoe at it and, just like, be all Jennifer the Kind Hudson on it, start flying stuff at you. Like, damn, that's just too good. You gotta stop it with that. But Punahele, again, from Makaha, his album Beneath Mount Ka'ala won the 2019 Nahoku Hanohano Award for Hip Hop Album of the Year. Then he released, Menehune Giant, right? Which is I was just like, wow, that's a self-portrait. I think he's like a Menehune Giant. And has a new album, From Beneath Maunakea, which if you follow him on social media, he's been talking about it. Magic question is, do you have any of those left, Punahele? Do you have any more of those CDs left?
Yeah, if anybody wants one, you can just message me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right there. Shout out to my homegirl Malia for making the cover. Yeah, right there it is.
Awesome, awesome. And you wrote that album while you were on Maunakea.
I wrote a total of 40 songs on Maunakea. I guess, I was in emotional wreck, PTSD, and I also met some good people and had some good times and linked up with some solid Kanaka from all over up there. And it just came out in music.
Who writes 40 songs? My goodness. That's like biblical, Yeah, that is amazing, young brother.
Once you get charged up, it just comes out.
That's a graphic.
I vowed to never write a slam poem again because I always had a tough time being an artist. And the main issue I had was that pretty girls would always chase me around because I looked like Jason Momoa. And there was this one super pretty girl, and I told her I was going to the Mauna, and she was like, "I'll come with you." And I told her, "No, stay home, stay on Oahu, do your job, take care of the family." And so I went, and she still ended up surprising me and showing up to Maunakea. And we did a collaborative poem together. And I'll share the piece with you. This is the poem we did together about a year ago. And she's here, she's hungry and angry, but this is my best poem ever of all time.
Yeah. Ho ulula hui. Ho ulula hui.
But besides that, when I was on the Mauna, you know, a lot of the songs was like spitting flames on systemic oppression. And I flash back to when I visited Palestine in November of 2018. And even though their occupation is somewhat worse and in your face, they always seem to celebrate each other and have a good time. So I wrote this song on Maunakea, you know, for Hawaiians to have fun and share each other's company. And whenever you're ready, you guys can play on it. Thank you guys so much. Everybody killed it.
Everybody, we have a video premiere tonight on Nā Hua Ea. We got to make this a natural every year part of Nā Hua Ea, where we showcase and premiere one video. So all you artists out there can make more content just for that. Yeah. Featuring Punahele from Makaha, Hawaii with his new video, All Good.
Whether you love it or not, we will still shine. Good intentions, spreading positive vibes. Genuine smiles makes the haters go crazy. This train don't stop, it's all good, baby, baby. Whether you love it or not, we will still shine. Good intentions, spreading positive vibes. Genuine smiles makes the haters go crazy. This train don't stop, it's all good, baby, baby. Forwards ever, never reverse. Who job blessed, no man curse. Walk by faith, speak through works. Always give thanks and know your worth. Mind your own, don't watch no face. This is my home, I'll never leave this place. Here before, settlers and colonizers. Kill them with aloha, so I bring the fire to provide the spark. Ignite the heart, to challenge the brain, turn pain into art. That strengthens community, Hawaiians unite. Stand up and fight to make these wrongs right. Whether you love it or not, we will still shine. Good intentions, spreading positive vibes. Genuine smiles makes the haters go crazy. This train don't stop, it's all good, baby, baby. Whether you love it or not, we will still shine. Good intentions, spreading positive vibes. Genuine smiles makes the haters go crazy. This train don't stop, it's all good, baby, baby. Big Pa'ina, Emu oven. Go make it play, everybody grubbing. Kani Kapili got my whole family singing. Another good day in the kingdom. Big Pa'ina, Emu oven. Go make it play, everybody grubbing. Kani Kapili got my whole family singing. Another good day in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted it.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. They had a blooper reel too at the end. Yeah, mahalo Punahele for that. So again, people can get your CD if they hit you up on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if I could share a tiny thing I wrote on the Mauna.
Go for it.
Okay. Before you seek sovereignty, you better practice it. Toe to toe with the police, I'm where the action is. Everything we do is for our mo'opuna, taking a stand so their futures don't end up brewing. Not afraid of the El Rad or the National Guard. 11 hours straight, my heroes chained to the cattle guard. Heoli Amalia, Kumunoi, Kumu Imai, Kumukale Koa, Uncle Walter, Kamuela, and Mahi I. Freezing at 3 a.m. until the sun scorched above. All for the Lahui with their hearts filled with love. I hope you get to stand before it's your time. That's why our Kupunas chose to be placed on the front lines of staunch aloha ʻāina. That's the Mauli in me. I'm the small axe that swings towards that big, big tree. And the term Hawaiian homes is a joke to me, because every piece of land is Hawaiian homes to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way to close it out, yo. Mahalo nui. Well, you know, we've gone through amazing performances tonight and sharing of Ike and Mele and Mo'olelo, all from the Pu'uwai. and the old pool of everyone who joined us tonight. So all of you out in the audience, I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight, right? We're gonna get some closing messages from Dr. Goodyear Ka'upua in just a second, but the next event that's coming up is on July 25th, right? That is gonna be the Nā Ea 2020 live, being brought to you, I think on Zoom, Noilani? Can I get a nod? Is it gonna be on this platform? Yeah, it's gonna be on this platform too. So great artists, you know, coming forward to share with that. And that's usually a thing that we usually have, you know, live. We go and there's a couple of rooms down at Brian's, you know, where everybody splits out and we just jump from room to room, enjoying all kind of music. But we're gonna have it on here. Kapu System is gonna be there. Poki'i is gonna be there. Punahele, of course, Ilnomatic, Ruka. Hey, wait a minute. Oh. And Maile and the kind, Prince, you guys not coming in for the 25th on here. Now, so check out the Paniolo Prince and Queen Maile, you know, for more of their stuff going on at Halehoaka. And I know definitely they'll be pushing out some more music. And everybody on here, right? Hopefully now that you're connected, now that you've seen these amazing people, you can go out and reach out to them, extend your hand, and they'll grab it on the other end. I'd like to thank everybody that came here tonight, shared your energies. I'm always on a high after this, you know, that takes me all the way through the end of the month to celebrate La Hua Ea. Don't forget, the reason why we come together is to celebrate that national holiday that signifies the raising again of our high Hawaii, and that our kingdom, you know, never extinguished itself, right? That we are still here. So mahalo ya Ka'uikeauli for your leadership. Mahalo for Papa Kekuni, for his leadership. And then of course, Imaikilani Winchester, who has taken the mantle and brought this celebration forward for all of us. Yeah. And now Dr. Goodyear Ka'opua, can you come and share a few things to everybody?
I just want to say mahalo, palena ole. This is my favorite Zoom meeting webinar ever. I thank you all so much for making this space healing space for all of the mele and the pule and just amazing fabulousness that you all brought. I cried, I laughed, I felt so many things. And the original La Hua Ea, you know, started in, well, originally started 1843, but the modern celebrations that started in the 1980s, those kupuna, Dr. Kekuni Blaisdell, Auntie Terry Keko'olani, Uncle Imaikilani Kalahele, all of the original OGs would be just so proud. And I know that they are crying, laughing, have so much hope about where the Lahui is at. So I want to just mahalo all of you. Mehana Okala, this event would not be the same without you. You have made Nā Hua Ea what it is for the last 6 years. I was telling some of the performers earlier that 1 year, Mehana was emceeing, writing a poem about what was happening in real time at the same time as she was emceeing. And by the end of the night, was able to write this, read and perform this poem that she had written on the spot that wove in the voices of all of us. And you always create space for our ea and lift up our voices. And we're so grateful to you, Mehana. And then lastly, I wanna mahalo the Hawaii People's Fund and its fearless leader, Miki Hui Hui. Hawaii People's Fund has been supporting La Hua Ea for some time, and this year they're supporting our online series. So mahalo nui to the Hawaii People's Fund and all of those who contribute to that community led fund. Mahalo nui.
Okay, everyone, that brings us to the end. And usually we circle up, and I think we should still do it. We started off with Eho Mai in the beginning. And I want to end this like how we end this back in the shack at Papahana Kūola. We join hands, right? And we sing Hawaii Aloha. And if you can all indulge me at this time to sing that mele with us. And again, you can have your speakers, your microphones on or off, and don't get thrown off. Just sing. Just sing. We all know the words. Sing the song. Okay, mai ka'i ke la?
Aye.
Okay. E Hawaii e kone hanau e Kuʻuhonua kulaini
Olino ina ponolanio e Hawaii aloha e hauʻoli e nā ʻōpio Hawaii e oli mai nā ahe makani e pā mai nei mau ke aloha aloha Hawaii mau ke aloha aloha Hawaii. How'd you make Hana music in the middle of this song?
Mai ka'i kako, I la mai ka'i, I pule mai ka'i a kako a pau, I ola ke kino, I ola ka ohana, I ola ka la hui, ola a hui ho kako.